Hi, everyone. I'm Noor Bashara from Upcycle Design School, and today I'm really excited about the workshop. We have Creating a Wholesale Market for Upcycle Designers with Joncee Moulder. And Joncee has an extensive background as a creative director, designer, stylist, and writer. And she is currently the head of wholesale for Used is Made Here. And I will let Joncee take it from here. And thank you so much for being on our workshop this month.
Well, thank you for having me. It's wonderful that all of you joined. Um, Nora and I met via Instagram. I found out about Fab Scrap, and then I found Nora, and then found out about Upcycled School of Design, and thought what she was doing was really exciting. So we Used is Made Here is an integral part of kind of a bigger system that we have in Hurst, Texas. So it originally started by two founders, Thrift for Good, which is kind of our retail storefront thrift store. And what's different about that is when people donate, we support over 400 charities locally. So it, you want your donation to go to cats or dogs, or you have a specific charity that means something to you. And so each of those items come through our processing center. So they're individually priced by a person, put in the system, cataloged, and when that item goes on the floor, 25% of that sale will go to that charity that you chose. And obviously there are some goods that aren't going to sell, such as maybe blankets or furniture, or sometimes we get different pieces, but those still go to a different area that are sorted and given out for free to people in need. And because of the incredible donations that we do receive, we decided to open Wholesale. And so Wholesale, I want to work with the upcycled designers to give them a resource for materials to use in their projects, as well as people that have their own boutiques or thrift stores, because a lot of our items, since our quality control is nothing with spots, pilling, stains, tears, goes through into our wholesale or to our store. Um, and that way it's already quality controlled for you, for the end user. And those can be sold in a boutique, or they can be upcycled, which we think is really great. We want to work with as many people as possible. And even though those items do come to wholesale, we still give that 25% to the charities. And what that does for the charities is it alleviates them having a storefront, so we're doing all the back end work for them. They still get a wonderful donation, and it simplifies everything for everyone. And what that also does for the upcycle buyer, as well as a boutique buyer or even a stylist, is it alleviates the quality control, and it alleviates having all these goods in storage in your store that maybe you aren't going to sell, and then you're stuck with it. And then so you come here and you're able to pick out individually what you want to work with. And I can set up virtual meetings where I can walk through what we have, and we have over 200, well, we're about at 300 different categories of women's clothing alone. So the wholesale is set up for women's. We do have an extensive catalog of children's, tween, and men's, as well as hard goods, which we do get a lot of upcycle people for as well. There's a great girl that does entomology, so she gets all these great glass containers and whatnot to do bugs and beautiful butterfly pieces that she sells. And so I think it's an interesting way to alleviate the cost and the storage for people doing upcycled or have a retail shop. And so that's kind of where wholesale comes into play.
And if I can just jump in, so you guys basically collect secondhand clothing from the community, and then you either put it in your retail store, and then the excess that doesn't go in the store goes into the wholesale department?
No, it all, once it is priced and in the system, it comes to wholesale. So from wholesale, I actually restock our storefront with, what's in season. And we do have planograms, even though it's a thrift store, it feels like a store. Um, we have a preppy section, a boho. We have features throughout different seasons. Um, and we'll be opening a location in Denton here hopefully soon. And we'll also be the provider of wholesale for that location as well. And we would do the same for individual buyers for wholesale for their shops or people who want to do upcycled work.
Got it. That makes sense. So it goes into the wholesale section first, where it gets sorted and categorized.
Right. And I have, with the clients that I do have for wholesale, is I kind of have a box set aside for them, and I'll see something, I'll be like, oh, I think they would love this, and I'll send them photos. Or like with Noor, she kind of gave me a list of things she was looking for, price points, and I went through and took photos, put them on a Google Drive for her to go through, and added folders, a yes, no, a maybe, for her to sort through, so I could get an idea initially of what she was looking for and kind of price points and what worked for her. So we do virtual, in person, over the phone, whatever works best for you.
What kind of minimums do you have?
Our minimum is 150, and that starts at 10% off, and then it goes up in increments from there.
And that's 150 US dollars?
Yes, 150 US dollars, and our average pieces range between, I would say, $2 and $6 for most of the categories. So that gives you room to mark up. When they are priced into our system, like I said, each item is researched. A lot of them are new with tags. Some of them, don't look like they've been worn at all. And so from what that item is when it's researched, on like Poshmark or eBay or something, we still mark that 60 below when we sell it in our store, and then even less through wholesale, so that it gives the designers margin to mark up that item, and benefits everyone in that sense. Did that answer the question about? Okay.
Yeah, great. And then yeah, I had the experience of sourcing a few things with Joncee, and it was very easy because everything was in photos in Google folders. So I was able to just say yes, no. And I know like that's one big challenge that us upcycle designers have is finding materials at scale, the cost of the materials, and the time involved in going to the rag house or to the secondhand stores and digging through item by item. So wow, when we connected over Instagram, I was really excited for this new way of working. I mean, I guess it's not new, but it's the first rag house or secondhand clothing retailer that I found that is willing to work this way. So
yeah, and we're really focused on helping the upcycled market, because we feel that that was part of the broken system in giving them the support that they need in growing their businesses. So, and then also, once your box is full or whatever, we can ship it to you. We have a great client in Kauai, and so we send her stuff a couple times a year because it's a pretty big box. And and people who have come in and they get to go through the bins and dig through, and which are all organized. They're long sleeve, classic, long sleeve fashion, short sleeve this, crop tops, vintage, accessories. They're just able to go through the items, and they're like, it's air conditioned in here, it's organized, like I'm not actually searching through it because everything in this bin is what it is, and it's already quality controlled for you.
and I know from my experience going to the rag house, they do have a vintage department that is definitely more organized, but it's expensive for
Right.
rag house standards,
Mhm.
and there's a high minimum to even purchase.
Right. Um, we try to, it's designed to work like any other wholesale, but just gently used goods. And
So that's interesting as a designer. If I have this idea of a category that maybe doesn't exist in your bins yet, or maybe would take 12 months to gather enough of that category, then
mhm,
you could set aside a box and say, I don't know, handkerchiefs or something, soft printed handkerchiefs. Maybe that doesn't exist yet, but once you know I'm looking for it, then
mhm.
over the course of time, you could set those aside. And then once there's enough for it to be, for it to make sense to mail it, then we would go through the transaction.
Yes, yes, and I work with a couple that does embroidery. He does screen printing, and she does embroidery work. So there's certain things that come through. I'm like, I know she'll love this, and so I put those aside in the box for her. And he's always doing lots of cool screen prints, so I know the shirts and kind of color schemes he's going for and things like that. Once I get to know the client, it makes it a lot easier to send them a photo and say, hey, do you love this? Great, I'll stick it in your box and set it aside for you. Um, so once that client intel is built and those relationships are built, um, I'll always be looking out for something you're looking for. And people will come in and they're like, well, I don't even know where to begin. I'm like, tell me what you're looking for. And so I'll have in individuals as well who are just can't find what they are looking for, or maybe they have issues shopping in a retail space. And she was like, it's my daughter's wedding. I'm a size 14. I hate shopping. And, I had 15 dresses pulled for her in the color scheme she was looking for and ready for her to try on. Um, and you could say, I need a crop tie-dye shirt that's a size medium, and I will find all of those. I mean, I know where everything is. So once those relationships are built, it makes it really easy to look for you.
So then do you have like a team of people that do all the behind the scenes sorting? Obviously.
Yes, we do. Um, well, currently, next door will fill the bins of the women's, and I'll bring the women's to the wholesale, and I will sort those. And then the men's and children's is still in the warehouse, but it's next door. We're in a strip center here, and so next door is the storefront, the warehouse, and then I have wholesale here next door to that.
Cool. And then do you have like a list or some sort of database of all the categories that you guys have? Just because let's say people don't really know what they're looking for at all.
Yes, we have all of that listed on our website, and I'll send that link to Nora, and we'll post that when we post the YouTube video. But it'll give you more information on wholesale, as well as contact information and a form if you'd like to apply to be a wholesale buyer. And it gives a list of very itemized, sports teams. We have, vintage scarves, vintage belts. We have um, all sorts of categories that you can look through. Athletic gear. Um, I have a whole neon section going right now. So, uh,
Neon, that sounds fun.
yeah. Well, it's interesting. So, yeah, it's been popular in some places, and some places it's not. So, I did a post not too long ago about the neon for, if you want to go full on neon for fall, or just some neon trim here and there, and things like that. So,
It's like one of those things that's like kind of comes through and has a minute that it's trending and then it kind of recedes
right.
and then it always comes back, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then I'll kind of meet with our COO next door, Annalise, who manages, well, a lot of everything. And she'll let me know what she has in mind for the fall, for the planograms and things like that. And so I'll start putting things aside to plan for that as well. Like this summer, we did summer in the Hamptons. So, reds, whites, stripes, linens, um, sun hats, that kind of thing, which was really fun.
And then what about the cost of shipping?
It really depends on how much you you would like to ship and at what time frame you would like to receive it. And I'm always more than happy to. The post office is just down the street to calculate for you and put that together. Um, Kind of a question to everyone that's here: is there anything that you've been looking for that you haven't been able to find?
Feel free to jump in if you guys want, or put it in the chat. You can put your microphone on. Does anyone have just general questions too? Um, okay, I guess we don't have questions, or we don't have. Um, okay.
I had a quick question. Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late. Thank you, Joncee, for being here. I was like, she's already done with the presentation part. Anyways, but so my focus on is really on outerwear and outdoor gear for bigger bodies, and so using upcycling. And so I'm wondering like about that as a wholesale marketplace. What do you think?
I'm sorry, it cut out just a little bit. What
Oh,
type of material, or
so
is
I
it
do outerwear and then like
outer?
outdoor gear and accessories
Okay.
for
Oh, that's
bigger
awesome.
bodies. It's like plus size, body positive stuff. And so just thinking about that as a wholesale model, what do you think?
Yes, yes, we have a really large section of plus size. It's really incredible. Um, Lots of heavy coats. We have all sorts of, windbreaker jackets, lots of cargo stuff that you could, do a piece. I'll have to look up your work to maybe see if I have some ideas, but we are looking to open we do have plus size within our store, but we're also looking to open a full plus size store because it is so difficult to shop for. And we get so many wonderful donations and great brands and great quality of stuff. So, is there are there any specific materials or certain types of, are you looking for like hardware stuff to put on them or more pockets?
Yeah, I tend to, yeah, use hardwares and add pockets, but really I have a tendency to just try to like take two or three that are smaller and then make it into a more plus size item.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that's awesome. Um, yeah, we're really excited about moving forward with that because there's such a need for it. And I would love to see the stuff you're doing because um, maybe I'd be able to help you um, send you some photos or things that might work for what you're looking for. Um, yeah, I think on maybe one of the other conversations it had been, we had spoken about, you know, uh, producing like mass quantities of upcycled materials or upcycled designs. And I think I don't think they're ever really, things are sized, but there was never an accurate sizing. You can't do that. I mean, I think that that Time article in, I guess, 2014, it talked about in 1938, I think 15,000 women were measured voluntarily, and that's where our sizing system came from. I'm sure there's been others throughout the years, but it's it's not accurate, and everyone knows that every brand fits differently, and I think people are just accustomed to sizing, even though it's not accurate at all. So, um, yeah, I think that maybe we are going back. I think we are going back to having things custom made for us individually, because I don't think anyone can go to a store and pick the same size, the same item, and it be accurate. Um, and I think that's something that's really special about Upcycle. Um, and that's what makes each piece unique.
Yeah, you triggered two thoughts. One is that I have been really playing with this idea of doing customization, right? For a couple of different reasons. Number one is that I can customize it to fit you, but also customize it in such a way that if you do lose weight or if you do gain weight, I could probably, create something that will be adaptable. But the other thing I was thinking would trigger my thought is, what do you think about, like, I'm trying to figure out, can I tap into, so Patagonia and some other brands are, they can return stuff and they'll reuse it. How can someone like me tap into something like that? Do you know?
Uh-huh. Um, well, I mean, it might not be all Patagonia, but we definitely get those things. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
that's what we would love to do is fill those. When you're like, I can't find this anywhere. I'd like to be at least one of the resources for you.
Okay. I see.
Trying to
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I think that's really cool when you mentioned the being able to change it with your size. I think that's really cool. It immediately made me think of I recently bought my son shorts, for school,
Mhm.
and those little elastic tabs inside. I mean, that's so
Yeah.
genius. It should be in
Yes.
all ages, right?
Right.
But I think that's really cool. And what's your brand name, or do you have an Instagram?
Uh, yeah, but I don't use it.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm horrible, but it's called Conscious Gear.
Okay.
But I did just hire somebody who's going to help me with my social media now. So I'll be able to show more of my stuff. So I'm excited
That'd
about
be
that.
awesome.
I think for me, the customization just feels like sustainable because then you can add durability into the product and it can last longer. You know what I mean? And I
Yes.
think that's so much what people want, right? Just to feel like they love having that thing that they had
Right?
forever.
Yes, they do. And I think it brings a sense of pride as well.
Yeah.
Um, um, yeah, someone
Yeah.
was asking about my yeah.
So I was just gonna jump in. I love the idea of making it adjustable to even to one specific client because it just extends the life of the garment a lot. And also just to point out, have you thought of using other types of materials for outerwear that you could maybe source in bigger pieces? Because maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be an old raincoat to make a new raincoat. Maybe it can be, I don't know, duvet covers or certain type of blanket or just a different category.
That would be interesting to play with. I don't know how well, the different sprays you can get that the protectant sprays, like the
Yeah.
waterproofing. I wonder how that works with different fabrics and textiles.
That's a great idea. Something I can play around with. I like that. I know Sarah has a question in the chat, so I don't want to take up too much more time.
Yes. So Sarah is asking, can you sort by fiber content? Can one get 100% wool, wool blends, or 100% linen? This would be for manufacturing, so size and style does not matter as much.
Yes, yes, we can definitely do that. If I have an idea of, if you're looking like sweaters or an idea of fabrics that you would be refabricating, well, I understand the content, but I can divide those out because one of our buyers, she's very particular. She wants everything that's natural fiber. So I'll go through and I'll list what percentages of fibers are in each item I send to her, and she works through the Dropbox system. So I just kind of needed to know the quantity maybe you're looking for, or colors and things like that, and pull a selection to go through. Oh, awesome. Good. Yes, I would love to. Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments, or want to share what kind of garments that they upcycle with?
This is Sarah. Sorry, I can't turn on my camera because I'm not in a place where I can do that. But to share what I'm doing with the fabric and the material is remanufacturing it in a needle felt process. So making new fabrics out of existing fabrics, or deconstructing to recreate something new. And right now I'm just prototyping, but that's the general idea. I don't see them necessarily as clothing, but more for interiors or maybe floor covering, that kind of thing. So just to share.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's mainly, I mean, I have the women's in the wholesale currently, but if you ever are like, oh, I could use something different, you know, like rolls of fabric, or different textiles that maybe aren't just something you would find in women's clothing, wholesale, and accessories, you know, always ask me. We have lots of resources next door, and I'm more than happy to go and, you know, pull different things if you want to see them, or put in along with your other wholesale items.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm actually part of another group where there are a lot of people. I joined this late, or signed up for this late. Otherwise, I probably would have shared it with some other folks, but a lot of people looking for clothing. So I'm going to share your name and your info, because I think there are people out there looking for just this thing. You're kind of like the fab scrap of clothing, maybe? Is that kind of a fair description?
Yes, that's
okay.
That's exactly what we are.
Okay, so, perfect. Okay.
Sometimes it feels difficult to explain, but once people understand, they're like, "Oh, it's so simple." But
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of how. I mean, that's exactly how our process works. And even though we do donate to charities, those are by the donor's choice, and we are for profit, so we're gradually building kind of this whole little ecosystem. And because we are for profit, you know, we pay our employees really well, and you know, we're able to do things like this, and we're able to have storage, to have you know, have this wholesale available to you know, to the community locally, and you know, hopefully globally at some point, but definitely nationwide.
I think it could be interesting, and I know I believe Nor teaches, but connecting with some schools, art schools, universities, design departments that might be teaching sustainability could be really interesting.
Yeah, that's why I reached out to Nor initially, because I was like, oh, schools would be great.
Yeah.
Even being able to, you know, partner with a school that would, you know, we could provide certain materials for a certain project that school's doing, if they have a budget for that type of thing. And so.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I will be adding Joncee to my list of my free guide to finding upcycled materials. So that's coming as well, because I know a lot of people find Upcycle Design School because they're looking for ways to find and source materials to upcycle.
And I spoke to Emmy at Fab Scrap previously, and they're working on updating their website also, and we're going to add us as a resource. So our website is in the midst of launching, hopefully today. I mean, we have a website, but we've redone it a lot to incorporate the wholesale and our our resources and clients and things like that.
Well, great. Well, congrats on the new website. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And that's great to be collaborating with Fab Scrap because they have quite a big audience.
They do. So even a little tag on their website hopefully will help spread the word.
For sure. Cool. Does anybody else have questions? Thoughts? Now's your opportunity.
I'll ask a question again. You're based in Texas, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't quite sure if I got that. Okay.
Yeah, we're in Hearst, so it's kind of DFW area.
Uh-huh.
Where are you based, Sarah?
Oh, I'm in Brooklyn.
You're in Brooklyn. Nice.
Yeah. Just down the street from Fab Scrap. That's what. So.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah, but the prices here locally are higher, I think, in this area.
True. Yeah,
And
definitely.
then by the time you spend your time the day going to the rag house and or like in my case driving there, tolls, us, that can for sure offset the cost of shipping, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. This may be kind of a strange question, but say you purchase the minimum, what kind of, is there a way to gauge what that volume is? Like, is that a lot of stuff? Is that a bale? Is it a big box?
That would be stuff. So I'll do some very quick little math. So let's say each item is $3, and that would be 50 items for $150, and then 10% discount. But it also, it also depends on the items, because our jeans are more $6.99 range, whereas our t-shirts can be $1.99 to $3.99. And then, we do have some more unique graphic tees that can go up to $5.99, $6.99. And then like ladies' blouses on average would be between $3.99 and $6.99. And then we also have a high-end section, which we have a classic high-end, which think Talbot's, Tommy Hilfiger, Ralph Lauren, and then high-end fashion would be like J. Crew, Banana Republic, Zara, H&M. I know that technically those wouldn't be maybe considered high-end, but also one of our goals is to help with spreading our stores locally is to help clothing deserts where there's really no place to shop and give them the opportunity to have, better brands, great quality items to pick from. I mean, 45 minutes from here, in some little town, there's not even a Target,
Wow.
So,
yeah.
And to be able to provide them with great items that are being reused is even better. And giving them, and when you're able to shop wholesale or whatever, because they are donated items, they're only one-offs, so it already feels like a unique piece.
Do you find that you have to educate people very much? I mean, I think probably the people on this call kind of get the whole upcycled, but do you find that there's a a resistance, or maybe your clientele has already kind of worked through, any squeamishness or whatever about
Well,
repurposing
that's
or.
one of the things we mentioned is destigmatizing.
Mhm.
And when approaching people that already have a boutique, maybe they do have things that are new, and it's not just a thrift resale store. Conveying to them that our quality control is impeccable. It's very, very good. And because every single item that comes through wholesale comes through me personally. So
Mhm.
as I sort each items, I will still pull things. I'll be like, oh, someone missed a spot here and whatnot. So when they get something, it's pretty much like brand new. Um, and conveying that it can be difficult.
Mhm.
That this item is still of value. Um, and I guess an example I like to use is because I have worked in retail before, and you get in these boxes that are brand new clothing from factories,
Right.
and they're wrapped in plastic, and they usually smell funny, and those they aren't like brand new. They just people think they're brand new in a store. They've been through different hands and different factories and shipping and all sorts of things.
Right.
So I'm not, we've kind of come to think of things in a, pretty window display as being better than, I
Right.
guess.
Right.
So yes, it can be difficult, and
Right.
I think a lot of people are starting to uh, see the need, to stop the waste and to support artists, and uh, thinking of the future in different ways is
Mhm.
it's always a good thing.
That's
In
great.
terms in terms of getting over the stigma and stuff, do you guys wash the pieces or you just sort
No,
them very well? Okay.
we sort them very well. Yeah. So anything that you know might have might have come from a friendly pet home, or might have really aged cigarette smoke, or something like that, we won't put through. Um, but we do try, and even items that are great. I mean, I'll have them hanging outside in front of the store because I'm like, I'm going to save this piece,
Mhm.
and we do our best to recycle, and even if they don't, they are still going to go to a person to be used. I mean, our waste is so minimal. I mean, there's really nothing that's thrown out, because our second sorting warehouse, he even like puts together, because people will donate shampoos and things, but they've been used, and he'll put together little kits for like around Christmas time or holidays and things like that to still be used.
Mhm. Do you track your metrics in terms of waste? I mean, I'm sure you use every little bit, but you know how Fab Scrap kind of talks about, their, saving things from the landfill and all of that. They do a fairly, I think, deep dive on their measurements. Are you able to do something similar, or is it more kind of you're kind of building that
We
database, if you will?
we are building that.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we do
Yeah.
not
Yeah, that's
currently, because we have grown really fast, which is great, um, because it shows that there is a need, I think, for us on many different levels. And uh, I don't know. I mean, there is very minimal. I don't know how to express it. Usually, it'll be broken items
yeah.
that are more hard goods versus clothing. Um, it if it's only like one shoe or something, it probably won't make it through. Um,
Right. Right.
And I mean, we reuse our garbage bags like 3 times,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's we are very conscious of it. I would like for us to be able to provide that at some point, and hopefully we will be,
Right.
because with our new website, it's not just a new website. It is new. It's a new form of technology that goes in behind it, um, that we will release soon, I hope,
Mhm.
because we are supporting opening other stores for people and then being the provider for them. And then when they do open a store, um, and I'll be opening a store north of here that'll be a separate boutique, separate from the thrift. I'll be sourcing from local artists and hopefully providing them with some of the things that they need in order to sell through the stores. So eventually it's going to become a full kind of ecosystem of, helping each other and making it all sustainable, if that
That's
makes
great.
sense. It's
That's so
all
great.
circulatory.
Oh, that sounds amazing. So you'll kind of in the store you'll be selling actual designers upcycled work.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
we'll be selling the items from, like, I'll pretend. I mean, I will be, but it'll be like I'm coming in and shopping for my own store, which I will be doing, and um, then also filling in with local artists or people that I found that are doing great stuff. I'm like, yes, I'd love to have some of your stuff in as well. Um, so
Then
we're
you're
trying to
really
grow. That'll be kind of our first in-house model of the concept working.
so now you're really taking it full circle because now you're kind of collaborating with those artists and helping them find the materials, and then you're also helping them sell by providing a location for them to have their pieces.
Yes, yes, and then also we are working with people opening their own stores, and then we will help them with the technology side of it for pricing and things like that, and we'll also provide them with the wholesale, um, and we do offer grants for people doing that, to kind of help people get started in their own journey.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joncee, for taking the time
Oh, thank
and
you guys.
being with us today. And I know I wanted to give a warehouse tour, but that wasn't, I don't want to put you on the spot. And that may not be actually possible with the computer, but I'd love to share at least a photo of it on the blog when I publish the workshop.
I will.
I think I love kind of
I
like
have my
seeing process and sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I have my laptop. I can walk around a little bit. Do you
Okay,
guys want
if
to
you
make
don't
tour?
mind,
Okay.
we would love to
Um,
see.
That'd be great.
so one of our founders, she designed all of our bins. So, we have high-end classic dresses, rompers, and we have plus dress rompers, scrubs, formal. So it kind of starts with short sleeves. So on short sleeves, we have our dresses and full body pieces. So that includes like matching suits. We have maternity, plus classic, plus fashion, and then we have overstock. Um, so we've got aisles and aisles that look like that. um, and then we also have a lot of shoes and lots of overstock of those, and accessories, tons of sheer over pieces, loads of scarves. If someone is doing something with knit woven scarves, I'm definitely your person. So that's a little bit of the wholesale area.
Amazing. Thank
That's
you.
helpful. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Sometimes, it helps to put this visual in your head, at least for me
Right.
personally. And it's so organized too. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
Thanks.
So once again, thank you so much. And
Yeah,
I can't
thank
wait to
you.
see your new site. And I will be publishing the recording next week on the blog and everything. And can't wait to add you as a resource as well to my guide for finding upcycled materials.
Well, thank you all so much. I really appreciate the questions. I hope I was able to answer them. But yes, please reach out anytime. I'd love to help you find what you're looking for.
Thank you, Joncee.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Nor.